My name is Stella Frost. I'm 29. Last Tuesday at 6:47 a.m., I was standing in the staff break room at St. Francis Community Hospital when my father called me to say I wasn't his daughter. And he had proof this time. Real proof. My mother's deathbed confession, he said. His voice was calm, almost pleased. I was holding a cup of coffee that cost $2.40 from the vending machine. My shift didn't start for 13 minutes. Through the phone, I could hear my brother Michael laughing in the background. Your mother finally told the truth before she died, my father said. She admitted the affair. She admitted you weren't mine. I have it in writing, Stella. A notarized statement from the hospice nurse who heard everything. I set the coffee down. My hands didn't shake. That's what surprised me most. Dad, Mom died 8 years ago. Why are you telling me this now? Because I'm done pretending. His voice went hard. I'm done pretending you're family. Michael deserves everything. He's my real son. You're just the mistake I raised out of obligation. Michael's voice came through clearer then. We talked to the lawyer yesterday, Stella. The house, the investments, Grandma Donna's trust. It all goes to actual family now. I picked up my coffee again. It was still hot enough to burn my tongue. I was there when Mom died. She never said anything like that. You would say that, my father said. You've been lying your whole life, just like she did. He hung up. I stood there for 4 minutes and 12 seconds, staring at the bulletin board covered in thank you cards from patients' families. My reflection in the microwave door showed a woman in pink scrubs with a name tag that said, Stella Frost, RN. That was my name. That was who I was. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother. Don't bother coming to Dad's birthday party Saturday. You're not invited. Actually, you're not family, so why would you be? I deleted it. My shift started in 8 minutes. I had 6 patients under the age of 10 waiting for me. A 4-year-old named Marcus who was recovering from appendix surgery. Twin girls, Emma and Lily, 7 years old, both with pneumonia. None of them cared about my paternity. They just needed someone to check their vitals and bring them juice boxes and tell them they were brave. I finished my coffee. It tasted like metal. Let me take you back 21 years to the summer I turned 8. Grandma Donna lived in a yellow house on Maple Ridge Drive with a porch swing that creaked and a garden full of lavender. She wore Chanel No. 5 perfume and kept butterscotch candies in a crystal dish on her coffee table. Every Sunday, my mother would drive me there for lunch. My father never came. Neither did Michael, who was 11 and too cool for grandma visits. Your father's busy, Mom would say, but Grandma Donna would lean close to me while we were shelling peas or folding laundry and whisper, He's a coward, little star. But you're not. You're going to shine so bright one day. She called me Little Star because I was born during a meteor shower. She said my mother counted 14 shooting stars through the hospital window while she was in labor. That's how I knew you were special, Grandma told me. The universe announced you. On my 8th birthday, she gave me a silver bracelet with a star charm. Keep this close, she said. When things get dark, and they will, sweetheart, they will. Remember that stars shine brightest in the darkness. I will always find you, little star, even if I have to come back from heaven to do it. I still have that bracelet. I wore it through nursing school, through 12-hour shifts in the pediatric ward, through every birthday my father forgot, and every Christmas I spent watching Michael open presents while I got a card with a $20 bill inside. The first real betrayal came 3 months after my mother's funeral. I was 21, home from my second year of nursing school for winter break. It was a Sunday afternoon, December 18th, at 2:30 p.m. My father called me into his study. Michael was already there, sitting in the leather chair that used to be off-limits to us as kids. My father stood behind his desk with his arms crossed. Sit, he said. I sat on the wooden chair near the bookshelf, the chair that wobbled. Your mother told me something before she died, my father began. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at a spot on the wall above my head. She was on a lot of pain medication, barely conscious, but she was trying to confess. The hospice nurse heard it too. My throat went dry. Confess what? That she had an affair. That you're not my biological daughter. The room tilted. I gripped the armrests of the wobbly chair. That's not true. Mom would never. Don't interrupt me. His voice was ice. She said his name, Richard Salazar, a contractor she worked with 29 years ago. She said she was sorry, that she should have told me sooner, but she was afraid I'd leave. Michael shifted in his leather chair. He wasn't smiling, but he wasn't defending me either. Dad, I don't understand. Why didn't you tell me this 3 months ago when it supposedly happened? Because I needed time to process it, to verify it. He opened his desk drawer and pulled out a manila folder. I hired a private investigator. Richard Salazar died in 2003, so we can't get his DNA. But the timeline matches. Your mother was working on that hospital renovation project in March 1996. You were born in December. The math works. That's not proof, I said. My voice sounded far away. That's just timing. I look like you. I have your eyes. You have brown eyes. Half the world has brown eyes. He slid the folder across the desk. The investigator found witnesses who remember seeing your mother and Richard together frequently. Lunches, late nights at the project site. I didn't touch the folder. Did you ask Mom about this when she was conscious, before she was on morphine and dying? For the first time, my father looked directly at me. His face was blank. Why would I? I trusted her. I trusted that you were mine. I was wrong. Michael finally spoke. Stella, maybe it's better this way. You can stop pretending to fit in here. Pretending? My face burned so hot I could feel my pulse in my teeth. I'm not pretending anything. This is my family. This is my house. No. My father's voice was quiet and final. This is my house. Michael's house. You're welcome to finish nursing school. I'm not a monster. But don't expect anything beyond that. The trust fund your grandmother left? That's for my children, my biological children. I spoke to the estate lawyer yesterday. There are provisions for situations like this. I stood up. The wobbly chair fell backward and hit the bookshelf. Grandma Donna left that trust for me and Michael equally. She wrote it in front of us. I was there. She wrote it believing you were her granddaughter, my father said. Fraud voids a contract. You should know that, with all your education. I looked at Michael. He was staring at his hands. Say something, I whispered. You know this is insane. He shrugged. I don't know what I know anymore. I walked out. I drove back to my apartment in Riverside. I called Grandma Donna's lawyer, a man named Arthur Chen. His secretary said he'd retired 4 years ago and moved to Arizona. She gave me a new number. I called it 16 times. No answer. By New Year's Eve, the rumor had spread through the entire family. My Aunt Patricia stopped returning my calls. My Uncle Robert sent me a text. If this is true, you need to give back everything the Frosts ever gave you. It's only right. My cousin Jessica unfriended me on every social media platform. I checked my bank account on January 3rd. I had $1,847. I had 4 months of nursing school left. My rent was $650 a month. My car payment was $280. I went back to school. I stopped answering my father's calls. I stopped going home for holidays. On my graduation day, May 14th, my father sent a card. Inside was a $50 check and a note. Congratulations on your achievement. Your mother would be proud, whoever your father is. I ripped up the check. I got hired at St. Francis Community Hospital Pediatric Ward 6 weeks later. My starting salary was $58,000 a year. I worked the overnight shifts because they paid an extra $3.50 an hour and because I didn't have to see anyone I knew. I took care of kids who were scared and in pain and whose parents looked at me like I could save their lives. Some nights I could. Some nights, I just held a kid's hand while they cried and told them they were doing a good job being brave. I was good at my job. That's what my supervisor, Dr. Mariana Torres, said during my 6-month review. You have a gift, Stella. The kids trust you. Their parents trust you. Don't lose that. I didn't lose it. But I didn't have much else. Then came the day my father showed up at the hospital. It was a Thursday in late September, 3:45 p.m. I was in the hallway outside room 304, updating a chart for a 6-year-old named Owen who just had his tonsils out. The ward was quiet. Visiting hours didn't start until 4. Stella. I looked up. My father stood 10 feet away, wearing his gray suit and his courtroom face. He was a corporate attorney. He knew how to control a room. You can't be here, I said. Visiting hours haven't started. I'm not here to visit a patient. I'm here to talk to you. He walked closer. His voice dropped. Michael is getting married. Barbara Jones. The wedding is November 12th at the Grandview Estate. You're not invited. I set down the chart. Okay. Okay? He looked surprised. That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? I want you to stop telling people I'm wrong. Stop telling people your mother didn't confess. You're making this harder on everyone. I haven't told anyone anything, I said. I haven't spoken to anyone in the family in 8 months. Then why is Patricia asking me questions? Why is Robert demanding to see the hospice nurse's statement? Maybe because it sounds insane. His face darkened. Don't call me a liar. I didn't. I kept my voice level. I said it sounds insane, because it does. Mom loved you. She wouldn't have lied for 29 years. You didn't know her like I did. Neither did you, apparently. He stepped closer. I could smell his cologne, the same brand he'd worn my entire life. You want proof? Fine. I'll get a DNA test. We'll settle this once and for all. Great, I said. Let's do it. He blinked. He hadn't expected me to agree. You're willing? I've been willing since December. You're the one who's been avoiding it. A nurse walked past us, then another. My father lowered his voice. After the wedding. I don't want to distract from Michael's day. Of course not. Something hardened in my chest, something that had been soft and hoping for years. Anything else? Yes. He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket. This is the documentation from the hospice. The nurse's statement. She heard your mother say, I'm sorry, William. Stella isn't yours. I should have told you. It's notarized. It's official. He handed me the envelope. I didn't open it. Read it, he said. Maybe you'll finally understand why I can't look at you the same way anymore. He walked away. His footsteps echoed on the tile floor. I stood there holding the envelope for 2 full minutes. Then I threw it in the trash. Dr. Torres found me 20 minutes later in the supply closet, reorganizing gauze I'd already organized twice. You okay? Fine. Stella. I turned around. She was 56, Puerto Rican, wore bright red glasses, and had 3 kids of her own. She'd worked in pediatrics for 31 years. She could spot a lie from across a crowded ER. My dad came by, I said. I saw. What did he want? To remind me I'm not his daughter. Dr. Torres didn't say anything for a long moment. Then she pulled a chair over and sat down. You want to talk about it? Not really. You want to throw things? I almost smiled. Maybe later. Fair enough. She stood up. But Stella, whatever he told you, don't carry it alone. You hear me? Don't carry it alone. I nodded. But I did carry it alone, because who else was there? 3 weeks later, on a Tuesday afternoon during my lunch break, I went to the post office on Riverside Avenue to mail a package to a friend from nursing school. The clerk was a woman in her 60s, with purple reading glasses on a chain. While she weighed my package, I noticed a stack of mail in the reject bin behind her. One envelope caught my eye because of the return address, Chen and Associates, Estate Law. Excuse me, I said. That letter in the bin, with the law firm return address. Why was it rejected? She glanced over. Oh, that one's been sitting here for 3 months. Addressee moved, no forwarding address. We're supposed to return it to sender, but the return address doesn't exist anymore. Building was demolished. My heart started pounding. Can I see it? Why? That was my grandmother's law firm. I've been trying to reach them. She picked up the envelope. It was addressed to me. Stella Marie Frost. My old address on Parkview Street, the apartment I'd lived in during college. This is yours? Yes. She handed it over. Huh. Lucky timing. I paid for my package. I walked out to my car. I sat in the parking lot with the engine off and opened the envelope. Inside was a letter on yellowed paper, handwritten in Grandma Donna's looping cursive. Dear little star, if you're reading this, then I'm gone. And William is doing exactly what I knew he would do. He's lying about your mother. He's lying about you. He's rewriting history because that's easier than facing his own guilt. Do you remember the last birthday we spent together? You were 16. I made you lemon cake with raspberry filling. You told me you wanted to be a nurse, and I told you that you had a healer's heart. I meant it. Your father has been planning this for a long time, sweetheart, longer than you know. The hospice nurse he's quoting? She doesn't exist. Or rather, she does, but she never said what he claims. I know because I paid her $5,000 to document everything your mother actually said in her final days. That document is with my attorney, Arthur Chen. His new office is at 4782 Westmont Boulevard, Suite 220 in Phoenix, Arizona. His direct number is 602-555-0147. Inside this envelope you'll find a copy of the original trust I established for you and Michael. My private investigator's report on your father's affair with his paralegal, Diane Burton, from 1994 to 1997. Photographs and receipts proving the affair. Your mother's real final words, recorded and notarized. Your mother never confessed to an affair because there was no affair. Your father is the one who cheated. He's the one who lied. And when your mother confronted him before she got sick, he promised her he'd destroy you if she ever told anyone. So she stayed quiet. And she made me promise to wait until the right time to tell you the truth. This is the right time. You are not a mistake. You are not illegitimate. You are my granddaughter, William's daughter, and the brightest star I ever had the privilege of knowing. Call Arthur. He's been waiting for you. All my love, your Grandma Donna. Little star, I kept my promise. I found you. I read the letter 3 times. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the paper. The investigator's report was 32 pages long. Photographs of my father and a blonde woman entering a hotel on 6 different dates. Credit card receipts for jewelry, flowers, weekend trips to Napa Valley. And at the bottom of the stack, a sealed audio file on a USB drive labeled Dorothy Frost, Final Testimony, May 2nd, 2017. My mother's voice. I didn't listen to it there in the parking lot. I drove home. I sat on my couch. I plugged the USB into my laptop. My mother's voice came through the speakers, weak and hoarse, but unmistakable. Stella is William's daughter. She has his stubbornness and his sense of justice. She's the best thing we ever made together. Don't let him take that from her. Don't let him rewrite this. I listened to the whole thing. 12 minutes and 47 seconds of my mother talking about her life, her marriage, her love for me and Michael. Not once did she mention an affair. Not once did she mention Richard Salazar. But she did mention my father's affair. I forgave William for Diane, she said. I forgave him because I loved him and because I didn't want to break up our family. But if he tries to hurt Stella, if he tries to use my death to rewrite history and pretend he's the victim, don't let him. She deserves better. I cried. I sat on my couch in my $650 a month apartment and cried for 20 straight minutes. Then I called Arthur Chen. He answered on the second ring. "This is Arthur." "Mr. Chen, this is Stella Frost, Donna Blackwell's granddaughter." There was a pause, then a long exhale. "Stella, I've been waiting for your call for 8 years." We met the following Saturday at his office in Phoenix. I drove 4 hours and 17 minutes. His office was in a modern building with glass walls and a fountain in the lobby. He was 73 years old, Chinese American, wore a blue suit and a kind smile. "Your grandmother was one of my favorite clients," he said as he poured me tea. "She was meticulous. She knew your father would do this. She spent the last 3 years of her life building a legal fortress around you." He handed me a folder 6 inches thick. "This is everything. The original trust, which names you and Michael as equal beneficiaries, cannot be altered based on paternity questions because it includes a specific clause protecting against that exact scenario. Your grandmother predicted it. She wrote, 'Regardless of any future claims, disputes, or allegations regarding biological parentage, Stella Marie Frost is my granddaughter and shall be treated as such in all matters of inheritance and estate distribution.'" "She knew," I whispered. "She knew." Arthur leaned back in his chair. "She also knew your father would try to claim your mother confessed on her deathbed. So she hired a hospice nurse to be present around the clock during your mother's final week. That nurse documented every conversation." "Your father's nurse? The one who supposedly heard a confession?" "She worked for your father, not the hospice. And she was paid $10,000 to sign a false statement." "Can we prove that?" "Already did. I have her bank records. The deposit came from your father's personal account on May 8, 2017, 6 days after your mother died." I set down my tea. "Why didn't you contact me sooner?" "Your grandmother made me promise to wait. She said, 'Arthur, don't give this to Stella until she asks for it. She needs to be strong enough to handle what comes next. She needs to choose this fight, not have it forced on her.' You called me, Stella. That means you're ready." "I don't feel ready." "No one ever does," he smiled. "But you are. You're here. You're asking questions. You're fighting back. That's what Donna wanted." He handed me one more envelope. "This is a certified letter to be delivered to your father. It informs him that we have evidence of his fraud and that if he continues to defame you or exclude you from your rightful inheritance, we will pursue both civil and criminal charges. It also invites him to attend a formal mediation session to resolve this matter privately. And if he refuses, then we go public. At the time and place of your choosing." I took the letter. "He's having a birthday party next weekend, his 60th, 80 people in his backyard." Arthur raised his eyebrows. "That would certainly be public." "Is that wrong? To do it in front of everyone?" "Stella, he humiliated you in front of your entire family. He destroyed your reputation. He stole your inheritance. If you want to set the record straight in front of witnesses, that's not wrong. That's justice." I mailed the certified letter that afternoon. My father would receive it by Tuesday. The next 5 days were the longest of my life. I worked my shifts. I took care of my patients. I didn't tell anyone what was coming. On Friday night, the night before the party, my brother called. "Stella, what the hell did you send Dad?" "The truth. He's losing his mind. He says you're threatening him. He says you've hired some expensive lawyer to make up lies about him." "They're not lies, Michael. You can't do this at his birthday party. You'll ruin everything." "He ruined everything 8 years ago." "Stella, please. Barbara and I just got married. I'm trying to start my life. Don't drag me into this." "You were already in it. You sat there in Dad's study and said nothing." Silence. "I'm sorry," he finally said. "I didn't know what to believe." "You didn't want to believe me. That's different." He hung up. Saturday, October 22nd. My father's 60th birthday party. The invitation said 2 p.m. I arrived at 2:47 p.m. The backyard was decorated with white string lights and navy blue balloons. A catering tent was set up near the garden. 83 people were scattered across the lawn, holding champagne glasses and small plates of appetizers. I recognized most of them: aunts, uncles, cousins, my father's law partners, family friends. My father was standing near the fire pit, talking to his brother Robert and two senior partners from his firm. He was wearing a charcoal suit and a blue tie. He looked happy. He saw me. His face changed. I walked across the lawn. People stopped talking. Conversations died mid-sentence. My Aunt Patricia touched my arm. "Stella, honey, maybe this isn't the best time." "It's the perfect time," I said quietly. I reached my father. Arthur Chen was walking 3 steps behind me. I'd asked him to come. He'd agreed. "Stella," my father said. His voice was tight. "You weren't invited." "I know. I'm here anyway." "This is my birthday party. You need to leave." "In a minute." I pulled the folder from my bag. "But first, I want to give you a present." "I don't want anything from you." "Too bad. It's for everyone else, actually." I turned to face the crowd. 83 people staring at me. Some looked curious, some looked uncomfortable. Michael and Barbara were standing near the dessert table. Barbara's hand was on Michael's arm, holding him back. "For those of you who don't know," I said, "my name is Stella Frost. I'm William's daughter. Or at least I was, until 8 years ago when he decided I wasn't. He told all of you that my mother confessed on her deathbed that I was the product of an affair. He told you she admitted I wasn't his biological child. He told you he had proof." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. My father's face went red. "Stella, stop this." "I'm just getting started." I opened the folder. This is a notarized statement from Rebecca Walsh, the hospice nurse who was present during my mother's final week of life. She documented every conversation my mother had while conscious. At no point did my mother confess to an affair. At no point did she say I wasn't William's daughter. I held up the statement. This is what she actually said. "Stella is William's daughter. She has his stubbornness and his sense of justice. She's the best thing we ever made together. Don't let him take that from her." My father's jaw clenched. "That's fabricated." "It's notarized and time-stamped. Unlike the statement from your nurse, Jennifer Marks, who you paid $10,000 to lie about what my mother said." Gasps from the crowd. Arthur stepped forward. "I'm Arthur Chen, estate attorney for Donna Blackwell. I have Ms. Marks' bank records showing a $10,000 deposit from William Frost's personal account on May 8, 2017. I also have a signed affidavit from Ms. Marks admitting that she falsified her statement in exchange for payment." My father's face went white. "That's extortion. She was coerced." "By you," I said. "You paid her to lie so you could disinherit me and redirect my grandmother's trust fund to Michael." Uncle Robert stepped forward. "William, is this true?" "Of course not. She's making this up. She's angry because she's not in the will." "I'm angry because you lied." I pulled out the next document. This is a report from a private investigator hired by my grandmother in 2014. It documents your affair with your paralegal, Diane Burton, from 1994 to 1997. Hotel receipts, photographs, credit card statements. My mother knew about it. She forgave you. But when she got sick and you promised her you'd take care of me and Michael equally, she made my grandmother promise to protect me if you ever tried to rewrite history. I held up a photograph. My father and a blonde woman kissing outside the Riverside Inn. The date stamp read July 15, 1996, 4 months before I was born. "You didn't want people to know you were the cheater," I said. "So you made Mom the villain. You made me illegitimate. You destroyed my relationship with this entire family because you couldn't handle your own guilt." My father lunged forward. "You have no right. I have every right." My voice didn't rise. I didn't yell. I just stood there holding the evidence. "You told me I was a mistake. You told me I didn't belong. You made me question my own existence. But I am your daughter, William. DNA doesn't lie. And neither did Mom." Arthur handed me one more envelope. "This is a certified DNA test from 2015. Your grandmother convinced your father to take it years ago under the guise of a family medical history project. The results confirm with 99.97% certainty that William Frost is your biological father. I handed the envelope to my Uncle Robert. He opened it, he read it. His face went gray. Will, Robert said slowly, this says you're her father. That test was compromised. It's not valid. It's from Gene Tech Labs. It's one of the most reputable DNA companies in the country. Robert looked at me, then at my father. Why would you lie about this? My father's mouth opened, closed. I didn't. I was told. You lied, I said quietly. You lied because it was easier than admitting you were the one who betrayed Mom. You lied because you wanted to give everything to Michael and you needed a reason. You lied because you could. Aunt Patricia started crying. Cousin Jessica walked over and stood next to me. I'm so sorry, Stella, she whispered. I should have believed you. My father looked around at the crowd, at his brother, at his law partners, at Michael, who was staring at the ground. This is a setup, my father said. She's trying to ruin me. No, I said. I'm trying to tell the truth. There's a difference. I turned to Arthur. We're done here. We walked back across the lawn. Behind us, the party had dissolved into chaos. Voices rose. Someone was shouting. I didn't look back. Michael caught up with me at my car. Stella, wait. I turned around. He looked devastated. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know he was lying. You didn't want to know. That's worse. What can I do? How can I fix this? You can't. Not today. I opened my car door. But you can start by asking yourself why you believed him so easily. Why it was easier to think I was a liar than to think he was. I drove away. I drove 4 hours and 17 minutes back to my apartment. I called Dr. Torres and told her I was taking Monday off. She didn't ask questions. She just said, "Take care of yourself, Stella." On Sunday, I went to Grandview Cemetery. My grandmother's grave was in the west section, under an oak tree. Her headstone was simple gray granite with her name and dates. I brought lavender from the flower shop on 3rd Avenue. I sat on the grass next to her. I did it, Grandma, I said. I told the truth, just like you taught me. The wind moved through the oak tree. Somewhere above me, a bird sang. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for keeping your promise. I stayed there for an hour. Then I went home. Over the next 6 weeks, everything changed. My father's law firm asked him to take early retirement after 3 of his partners reviewed Arthur's evidence. Uncle Robert called me to apologize and invited me to Thanksgiving. Aunt Patricia sent flowers with a card that said, I should have believed you. I'm sorry. Cousin Jessica called me every Sunday. Michael called on a Tuesday night in early December. Barbara and I want to split Grandma's trust with you. 50-50, like it was supposed to be. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. It's right. He paused. I'm sorry, Stella. I'm sorry I didn't stand up for you. I'm sorry I let him make you feel like you didn't belong. Thank you. Can we try again, as brother and sister? Maybe. Eventually. I need time. I understand. My father never apologized. He moved to a condo in Scottsdale 3 months later. I heard through Michael that he tells people he's estranged from his children because we're ungrateful. I don't care anymore what he tells people. 1 year later, I'm still working at St. Francis. I got promoted to charge nurse. I make $68,000 a year now. I bought a small house on Elmwood Drive with a front porch and a garden where I planted lavender. On my dresser, I keep Grandma Donna's letter in a silver frame next to the bracelet with the star charm. Last week, a 4-year-old patient named Zoe asked me why I wore a star bracelet. I told her, because my grandma said I'm a star, and stars shine brightest in the darkness. She smiled. That's pretty. Yeah, I said. It is. If you're watching this, and you've ever been told you don't belong, told you're not enough, told you're the problem when you're actually the truth teller, type, I stayed in the light in the comments. Or if you walked away from people who tried to dim your shine, type, I chose myself. Both are brave. Both are valid. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. And remember, the people who lie the loudest are usually the ones with the most to hide.